Okay, so why am I dressed like a witch? Why I've got the hat and the dark clothes, dressed like a witch?
Because I'm doing a project on the Salem Witch Trails, and I thought it would be cool if we dressed up, and I'm going to tell you all about it.
Okay, because I really don't know anything about the Salem Witch Trials, so I'll probably be asking lots of questions.
Good. So, what the main thing you need to know is that people were hung, and they were hung based on spectral evidence.
Okay, I don't know what spectral evidence is. What's that?
You could be mad at me for whatever reason and accuse me of being a witch, and I'm going to trial.
Okay.
If I deny it, they're going to hang me.
Okay.
If I don't deny it and I say, yep, I'm a witch, then I'm in prison. It all started with two girls. They were 11 and 9, and it was the daughter and the niece of the local pastor. And their nanny she was an indigenous woman, and so there was speculation that she was teaching these girls witchcraft. So the girls, just all on their own, decided that they were going to play this fortune-telling game that would help predict their futures. So they play this game, crack an egg white into a glass, whatever shape their egg white took on, that predicted their future. So they look into this glass and they see a coffin and they start to freak out.
So it's kind of like today when people have like a Ouija board or something like that. They believe what it says.
Yep, exactly. So they start freaking out. They're crying hysterically. Then they start acting really weird. So then they start barking like dogs, and they are violently, shaking and, contorting their bodies all crazy which ways. So this nanny, her name's Tituba, she's like, okay, I gotta help these girls. So she makes them this witch cake, and it's made out of rye and urine. She makes them eat it, thinking that this is gonna get them better, so that they get better and they don't get in trouble for doing witchcraft. She makes them the cake, and they get even sicker. Well, right about this same time, a bunch of other girls in the village start getting sick. Same thing, hallucinations, delusions, just craziness all happening.
But they really don't know what's causing it, and they assume it's witchcraft, but they really have no proof.
But they have no idea. They call in the local doctor, and the doctor can't find anything wrong with them. So he says they're bewitched. So they decide that they're going to blame it on Tituba and a couple other...
The two young girls.
The 9
and 11-year-old girls.
Yep.
To save their own hide.
Yep, at least.
Or at least they think.
At least that's what we think.
Yeah.
So ultimately, these 3 women were accused. More than 3 women, but originally Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne.
What year was this back in? 1800s?
Nope, 1692.
Okay.
When someone accused you of being a witch, that was it.
They didn't have to have proof at all.
They didn't have to have any proof. Spectral evidence was proof enough, and all that meant was, I'm accusing you of being a witch. Or the girls claimed that Tituba, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne would visit them in their dreams. They would have dreams and visions about being pinched and bit. And back in this time, if you admitted to being a witch and said, yep, I'm a witch, you just got thrown in prison. But if you denied it, you were hung. That's what Tituba did. Tituba admitted to being a witch and even made up a big story about her and the girls, would ride brooms, and that admitted to visiting them in their dreams and pinching them and biting them and just causing all of these crazy hallucinations and delusions. So she admitted it. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne didn't. They said, nope, it wasn't me. They denied it. Sarah Good was hung. Sarah Osborne, she was the 40-year-old woman that was sick and whatever. She died in prison while she was waiting to be tried. Because of all the accusations, the governor put together a special court, the Court of Oyer and Terminer, which means to hear.
What does that mean?
The Oyer means to hear and Terminer means to decide. So they would hear the accusations and they would decide.
So a little more fair.
A little more, yeah.
Still not
supposed
good,
to be.
But somebody was trying to do, quote unquote, the right thing.
Right. More and more women are being accused. More and more girls are
becoming afflicted. Is it only women that are accused?
Mostly only women. There were a few men. One man, his wife was accused, and he didn't even stand up for his wife. But then they accused him, and he denied it. And so they pressed him with rocks. So they laid him down, put a board on him, and kept piling rocks. And he just kept saying, "Put him on me. I'm not going to admit it. I'm I'm not a witch, and crushed him to death.
But this was a society that was very religious
Very.
and very truly believed what they were doing was
Yes.
the right thing and that they were helping. They weren't
Yes.
trying to be vicious or mean.
No.
They really felt they were being good servants of their community.
Yeah, they thought that they
They were
were
doing the
saving
Lord's
people
work.
from witches bewitching people. They would,
So if you got mad at somebody and
Yep.
wanted to get back at them for something, you could just accuse them and that's all it took.
Yep, that's all it took. Like very religious, upstanding women started to get being accused. The whole community started to be like, well, wait a minute. Another minister, Cotton Mathers, he pled with the governor to dissolve, the spectral evidence. Like, don't let spectral evidence be the main reason these people are happening. And the governor, he just didn't hear it. So in July, five more people were hung in July, 5 more people in August, and then 8 people in September. Cotton Mather's father, who was the president of Harvard, went right to the governor and said, it'd be better if even one witch went free than to have all these innocent people die. Like, this is not okay. The governor's own wife had just coincidentally been accused of witchcraft herself. So Governor Phipps decides, you know what, you're right. Spectral evidence is no longer on the table. Then he set up a different court of judicature. Basically, the people were still tried, they still whatever, but it wasn't spectral evidence anymore. So 56 people stood trial for that, and only 3 were convicted.
Actually accused or
Yep.
convicted of being witches.
Exactly.
Okay.
So,
but in the meantime, many people have died.
oh yeah, there were over 150 men, women, and children who were tried and went to jail, and 20 women who were hung, and 1 man that was pressed. All of that because of this spectral evidence that was just an accusation. But it wasn't until 250 years later that Massachusetts finally gave an official apology and paid restitution to all their heirs.
Wow.
For
So they actually
they
came back and tried to, in some way, make right
yes
what was
yeah.
wrong because
250
they realized,
years later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so finally they restored the good names of all the people who were hung when they shouldn't have been. In 1976, there was a professor who did a humongous, extensive study. What caused those girls to act like that? Like, what was it? But what she found was that there's a fungus called ergo, and ergo poisoning causes every single symptom that those girls had. Vomiting.
What is
hallucinating.
What is ergo?
It is a
A
fungus. It
but
is
what's it from?
so it's found in rye, which was
Which was in that cake.
well in the cake, yep, that Tituba cooked them. But it was also very prevalent in the area. That was their staple grain.
Oh.
So
okay.
all of their cereals, contained rye. There are people that don't believe that ergo poisoning was the thing. They're just, yep, it was witchcraft and whatever. And then others believe like, well, they were just bratty teenagers that wanted to.
Some of these things are still being
For sure.
dealt with today, and like when we have bullying with people online
Oh, yeah.
and stuff like that, all you have to do is say something mean, and here again, it's really like just accusing,
Right.
and then everybody jumps on the bandwagon and it's
Yeah.
like a snowball effect.
And again, it's all because of an accusation.
Hopefully
Spectral
we
evidence.
can learn and move
Yes.
forward and not stay. in
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah. So contrary to popular belief, it wasn't witches that were being burned at the stake. It wasn't, oh, I have a big wart on my nose and I'm, fly on a broomstick, those kinds of witches. It was just a plain old accusation of, somebody that was an outcast or an undesirable. And again, all you needed was an accusation. So yeah. So that is why.
They had the Salem Witch Trails.
And that's why it all happened.
Kind of
and-
sad, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for listening to me.
You're welcome.
So,
Hey, thanks for explaining it, because I really didn't know anything about it.
yeah, it's
Very-
very fascinating
Yeah.
to learn about it.
You know.